Welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's video I'll be showing you how I made this keyhole bustier keyhole. I saw it on stylebyreme and I liked it, although my daughter asked for a milkmaid dress with basque waistline, but I saw this on stylebyreme and I loved it and I decided to make this. So guys, join me, let's make this for my daughter's birthday. Make this, you will need a lining fabric, you will need an interfacing. This interfacing is called hairstay in Nigeria. It has this rough side. This side I'm touching now is rough and this side is smooth. So the rough side is the side that gums to the dress. And you will need the main fabric. The main fabric, you can use crepe, you can use duchess, you can use damask, but today, as you can see, I'm going to be using this African fabric that I unboxed the last time. That's the fabric I'm going to be using, and I will need 2.5 yards of this African fabric. You can use 3 yards if you're on the plus size, and for this what I have is 1 yard, and for this I have 2 yards. And also you some supplies. This is very important, tracing wheel, and finally we will have to use our pattern paper to make this. So guys, let's start this. I'll be working with this bodice block I made the last time. I have the tutorial on how I made this bodice block, so you can go ahead and learn how to make this bodice block if you haven't already. So that's what I'm going to be using. It's actually very simple and beginner friendly, so you go ahead and learn that if you haven't done that already. But if you have done that already, you can follow ahead with this sewing tutorial. So this is the back panel, this is the back panel, this is the front panel. We're going to be starting with the front panel. Now what I have here, this is the armhole length, this is the waistline, and that is the hip line, and then this is the bust point. Can you guys see this line? This place is the bust point. So we are going to be starting. The first thing I have to get, actually this is for my daughter. I'm making this for my daughter. She wanted a milkmaid dress, but I saw a bustier dress with keyhole on stylebyreme and I liked it. It has a basque waistline. She also wanted a basque waistline, but the difference is that she wanted hers to be milkmaid. But let me just try this and see if she likes it. If she doesn't like it, we'll go ahead and make a milkmaid dress. But for this today, I'm making this keyhole bustier with keyhole. So I'm going to start by taking her under bust length. So I'm starting from this shoulder here. I'm taking down 12 inches. Actually, her bust is 34, her waist is 28, and her hips is 37. So that's what I have here. So here I have 12.5. I'm going to square that out. I'm just squaring the line out here just to have a guide on how to contour the underbust. From this dart leg, I'm going to come in 1.5 cm. I'll mark it here, and I'll do the same thing on the other side, 1.5 cm. I'm going to take these dart legs down. I'm going to take them down all the way down this way. Now on this line, I'm going to shape this. I'm just going to give it a nice curve like this. Just touching this and touching the bust point. I'm going to mark that like this. Make sure this is not sharp, so you're going to smoothen this out like this. Just a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to come to the shoulder. I'm going to divide the shoulder into two. I'm just going to mark a dotted line to meet this line. Just a dotted line like that. Just to give me the guide where I'm going to make my dart. So now on this line, I'm going to come down from the shoulder line. I'm going to come down the width of the length of the bustier that I want. Let me say I want it to be 7 inches. I don't want it to, have cleavage. I don't want any cleavage showing. So I'm just going to square this line out and work on that. So this is what I have here. So on this line, I'm going to be coming 1 cm on this side. I'm going to come 1 cm on this side. And on this side, I'm going to come 1.5 cm. And I'm going to connect these lines like that. So you just go ahead. If you can use your free hand, you can use your free hand. If you want to use your ruler, you can use your ruler, whichever one that is comfortable by you. So I'm just going to mark this like this. I'm just going to extend this line because of the keyhole that we have there, that design. Let me just extend this and cut that away, and we'll work on that later. So I'll just extend this line like this, and I'm going to cut this out. We're coming back to this, so let's work on this. Now I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut open the back, and we check our design, see how it's coming out. So I'm just going to cut this open. Make sure you always take note of your notches, of your balance points. Just take note of the balance points. So I'm just going to take this and put it over here to see. See her tiny bust is taking shape here. Ah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I think I like the curve I have here. Yeah, I like the curve that I like, but I don't like this neckline, so I'm going to shape this neckline again. I don't like, so I'm going to just shape it in this way. So it's always good for you to through your patterns to be sure that you have what's actually making. So I'm just going to take this down this way. But when I'm done making it, it will still look straight. Can you guys see? It still looks straight, but you know, so I'll just take this like this, and that is it. So I'm just going to bring back my front panel so I don't lose that part, and I'm going to join it back to this place. So I'm just going to cut this out from here. Yeah. I think what I have here like this is okay by me. Yeah, I think I like this. So next thing is to work on the front yoke. To make the keyhole on the bustier, I'm going to, this is the yoke that we cut out, and this is the line, the dotted line we marked using the center of the shoulder. So from here I'm going to come in 1.5 from the center line. I'm going to come this way 1.5. This is actually to your preference. Any design, anyhow you want to make your design now is okay. Then I'm going to come up that line. I will come up like 4 inches, and I'll mark it here like this. And on this line I'll come this way 1.25. I think that will be okay. Remember, this is the first time I'm making this design. I'm just making it because of my daughter. So I'm just going to connect this line and connect this one this way. I hope the shape of this keyhole is nice. I am believing so. Okay guys, so we are going to cut out this shape out. Yeah, I think if I should bring this should look like this. I think this is okay. Next I'm going to cut out, we're going to make the shape for the basque waistline. So I'm just going to close this. I'll close that left, and we have this straight like this. So I'm just going to make this like this. So now remember, this is the waistline and this is the hip line. On the waistline I'm going to come down 3 inches, and I'll mark it 3 inches from the waistline down here for us to make the basque waistline. If you're a plus size, you can decide to come down more. And on the hip line I'm going to come down 4 inches. Okay, that's 4 inches I have here. So I'm just going to connect this line to this line straight. I really want the basque effect. She wanted a basque effect, so I will give her a basque effect. So this is what I have here. I hope she likes this because it's going to almost get to her whatever. So okay, can you guys see the lines? I hope you can see it. So I'm just going to cut this out, and that's the silhouette we're using for the basque waistline. Is it waistline now or hip line? Yeah, so this is what we're going to be having, but I'm going to have a cut here. So I'm just going to tape this down and cut out the waistline. So you have to take note of this. From the waistline down to this place is 3 inches, so you have to take note of that. So I'll just cut out this and separate the basque waist and the bustier. And I'm going to separate this. So now, for my front, these are the patterns that I have for my front. Let me put it this way. Now for the front, this is the final pattern we're using for the front. I'm going to go over to the back now. For the back, we don't really have much to do. Like I said, this is the armhole length, this is the waistline, and this is the hip line. So I'm just going to come in 1.5 cm at the back here, and I'm going to shape this back like this. Just for the zip to be able to lap very well. So I'm just going to do something like this. And I'm going to take it off. Going to take it out down to the waistline, to the hip line. Sorry. Yeah, so this is basically it for the back. The only thing I'm going to do is I want to have another keyhole at the back here because I don't want the zip to be too long. So I'll just come down like say 2 inches. It depends on what you want anyway, and just make a kind of keyhole at the back here. So I'm just going to do something like this. Not something serious, so I'm just going to cut out all this. Now remember, we came down on the waistline 3 inches. I'm going to come down here at the back waistline 3 inches also. And for the back, I'm not going to have any basque waist effect at the back. I just want it straight. I don't want to have any basque effect. If you want to have back effect, you can do the same thing I did at the front. So I'm just going to, make this straight, just to have a different back design. So I'm just, oh no, I'll go ahead and cut this out. I'll just go ahead and make a yoke for the back. So I just have some panels for the back. I'll just do something like this. So I can just have panel for yoke for the front and the back. That is because I just want to slash this open. So let me indicate this is central back, and this is up, this is side, and this is up. So I'm just going to cut them out. As you can see, I've gone ahead to cut out the materials I'm using for this. So let me start with the line, with the allowances I've added here. Now, as you can see, for the side, I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance, and that is for because she's still growing. Also to the back waistline, as you can see, I also added 1.5 inches. Now to the yoke, remember the yoke, this side is also a side seam, so we added 1.5 inch sewing allowance also on that place. And for the neckline, guys, because I want this a little bit low, I didn't add any sewing allowance to the neckline, as you can see. So every other thing I have here is 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Can you guys see? Every other thing is 1/2 inch sewing allowance, and this is the only one that is the 1.5 inches. Can you guys see? So let me show you the back. Also for the lining piece, for the upper side, I went ahead and interfaced the lining. For the upper side, I interfaced all of them. The lining for the main fabric, I interfaced all of them except for the yoke. I didn't interface it. Can you guys see? Even the lining, I didn't interface the lining of the yoke. But for the upper side of this, I interfaced the main fabric. I also interfaced the lining. Can you guys see? But for the basque waistline, I interfaced only the main fabric. I didn't interface the lining piece, just for her to be comfortable. That nothing serious. Now this is the back. I also added 1/2 inch sewing allowance, or 1.5 inch sewing allowance to this. and every other thing is ½ inch for the lining, as you can see. For the for the back, every other thing is ½ inch, as you can see. Then for the back, I added interfacing to the back, but the lining I didn't add interfacing to that. And for the yoke, I didn't add any interfacing to that. Can you guys see? None of them has interfacing, but the main fabric has. Remember to always notch to show the side that is the upper, that is going to the upper side, and the one that is for the zipper. For the gathers, we're going to be cutting that in the next video, and also the sleeve, because this tutorial is very long. So guys, I'll see you on my next video. Bye.